This is going to be the Dreamlet podcast, episode 3, with my college, well, not college friends, but with my friends from third grade instead of college. And we're going to talk about college today and a little bit of other stuff, like what Jimmy wanted to introduce was like passion, because that's when we started to really get a sense of what we were passionate about or what we wanted to do. So why don't you go ahead and start us off with that, Jimmy?
Passion. Passion is how I am driven every day. I always believed in passion. Finding the passion that you have, something that you love doing.
Let us know what your passion is.
Well, my passion is cars or anything mechanical or, but mainly cars. I was always obsessed with cars. And I think in high school was when I decided to make that a career. And I said, okay, I'm going to make a career out of this. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go work on cars as a start, So I went to college. I graduated high school. I got awarded from automotive program. I was student of the year 2013, San Gabriel High School, for the Alhambra Unified.
You mentioned that last time, yeah.
Yeah. So for the Alhambra Unified School District, I was the one that won it that year for San Gabriel High School for automotive. So I won that, and I got a scholarship to Citrus College, which I didn't want to go in the first place because they had a Toyota program. I wanted to be part of the Honda program at Rio Hondo College. That didn't pan out. I missed registration, so I was like, okay, well, I guess I can go to Citrus. I kind of have my foot in the door with Citrus. I have a scholarship with them. So I went with them and got my Toyota stuff there. And I did engineering for a little bit. I got my all my lower end stuff for engineering, and I was about to transfer to Cal Poly Pomona. And then I realized I didn't want to be an engineer anymore because that's not where the passion is. I didn't feel passionate for the things I was doing for engineering. So I told myself, let's bite the bullet and let's just go work for Toyota. So I started at a Toyota dealership. As a master technician, I got all my certifications, passed all my tests and all that. So I became a Toyota master tech. And worked there for 4 years, learned a lot.
Nice.
Every day, yeah. You guys be surprised how challenging it is sometimes working on cars. It's not an easy job.
I mean, and my dad is my dad also works with cars, so he owns his own shop with he's not a mechanic. He does like collision stuff and also like paint stuff. Yeah. So I've helped him before, and it is it looks like a lot of work. My dad's hands are always like, it has stuff on it, like it's like dirty.
That's why you gotta work on the higher end stuff, because I finally got my dream job. I work at Porsche now. I'm a Porsche tech, or on my way to becoming a Porsche tech, and they're clean, man. They're clean. I've never worked on cars and had my hands this clean ever at Toyota. Porsche, they want you to be clean and they want you to look professional, and that's a very, very big thing for Porsche, because the image matters.
Okay.
And you're getting into like $200,000 cars, so you better be clean. So yeah. But yeah, I remember. Yeah, your dad works on cars, and I always forgot about that.
Yeah.
But that's probably where you got your mechanical understandings from, right?
I mean, not really. I think school was the main source for that kind of stuff. In terms of like knowing how to do an oil change or something like that, that's where I got it from my dad. But actual like engineering stuff or anything related to physics was from school for sure. That's what I studied for in school. Occidental College physics program. And then in the physics program, basically you do like math stuff, and it's also encouraged that you do computer science. So that I ended up just minoring those two because after my first year, I looked at the requirements for a minor, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take these classes anyways. I just take a few more extra ones, and then I get minors in those. Yeah, college was fun. There wasn't. I feel like for me, there wasn't like too much emphasis on academics. More so, I just like enjoyed the dancing because I did a lot of like dance stuff, like Dance Pro. That was really fun. Those were my favorite moments. Class stuff was like, this is when I started to become a bad student. I skipped so many classes in sophomore and junior year of college.
Yeah.
I don't believe it at all.
You don't believe it?
I don't believe it.
I know you ended up graduating earlier, before
You
4
graduated
years.
in your junior year, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, I told you guys that at that point I stopped paying attention in lectures and stopped taking notes. So whenever I went to lectures, all I did was like not pay attention or like slack off or slightly sleep. So I'm like, why even go to the class? Because like when a class doesn't have that participation in the grade, why even go? You know?
Yeah.
So that was my reasoning.
Right. So that wasn't your passion, right? So you found. Would you say you found your passion, or not yet?
I am a person that I'm a man of many passions.
I could agree with that.
So for me, I enjoy physics, like learning about it, and it fascinates me as a subject. But I cannot say that I find being in doing research or doing like research papers as a enjoyable career. It's just not for me in that realm. So the other alternative is to actually go to the engineering route where you actually do things hands-on, which does interest me, but I never got to experience that other than labs, which you do get to mess with equipment and stuff like that, but it's more so for theoretical aspects of physics versus like actual applying it into like say making a car or say making a rocket or something like that.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you because I did engineering, and I wasn't really. I mean, it was hands-on because we had to build a car because we built a car to compete in the Shell Eco Marathon. I was part of that team. We built a car, but it was a lot of research and developing and. To be honest, the whole time I didn't know what I was doing, you know, and I was like, oh man, like, and then I'm with people who don't know what they're doing either. So it's like, oh man, like, I'm not really enjoying engineering anymore. It's like,
yeah. I mean, for me, I don't mind the research aspect. I think I do have interest in those things. It's just I had more interests in other things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand.
Like very little things. There aren't that many things that are uninteresting to me, basically. So for me, it's just really difficult to pick what I want to focus my energy on. But I did know that, let's say, it was like. Sophomore year was when I knew that I wanted to take a gap year, but you know that gap year kind of turned into like a forever never go back to school years. So that's what happened for me. I just knew that I wanted to try something else. So during that gap year, I just tried building a game on Unity, built like 2 prototypes of a game, did stuff with AC, you know. Things didn't exactly work out, so I just tried more YouTube stuff eventually, and I found that I really enjoy making videos.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's what I've been doing ever since then, as well as part-time for like computer science stuff. Not really computer science, it's more like just programming macros for Excel, so it's not computer science really.
Excel, huh?
Making videos is fun. I won't lie there. Like, so
yeah, actually, ever since doing this podcast, I started streaming a lot more too.
Nice, nice.
Yeah. So.
You should post on the Discord more. I know the first time you posted there, I couldn't make it because I was like doing something. But if you post again, I'll definitely try to check out your stream.
Okay, for sure.
I'll check out your stream.
Yeah, actually, I just got a second monitor, so I think I'm going back on Twitch. So
Nice, nice. Because you were using something else, right?
yeah, I was using caffeine.
Caffeine.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to manage with only one monitor.
I see, I
using
see.
that. But yeah, talking about passion, I don't think I found mine yet. I'm still like hopping around.
I already know your passion.
You know my passion? Do I know my own? I don't think I know my own. Maybe the biggest thing right now is still video games, but yeah, I still haven't found a passion for what I want to do the rest of my life yet. Ever consider nursing? Me? No. I did want to do, or I did consider something in the med field at one point, but
Anesthesiologist, I remember.
yeah, but studying for that,
Yeah.
it's hard.
Yeah. I think that's one thing that actually never interested me is going into the medical field, because when I was young, I could never handle seeing blood. It was something that was very painful for me to see, or I would always try to look away. So I was like, that's not one of the things I'm gonna do.
Yeah. And I never wanted to be in the medical field because I don't like dead bodies. I cannot stand a dead body. Nope.
Did your parents never like force you towards that direction?
Yeah, they forced me. I said, no, I'm not interested. I don't like dead bodies. They're like, okay, well, you're going to be a pharmacist. I'm like, no. Okay, fine. You're not going to be a doctor. At least be an engineer. And I'm like, all right, fine.
Yeah.
And I tried it. Nope. Oh my gosh. You guys should have seen the fight I had to put up to become what I am today.
Yeah.
It was a huge fight.
I'm glad you put up that fight, because for me, I kind of didn't with my mom. I took automotive in high school, and I was pretty interested in it actually. And I considered going to, was it UTI or another school in Tulsa? I forgot what the name of it was, but
I don't think it's biotech, is it?
I don't remember. I don't think it was biotech.
That school sucks. It's a scam.
But either way, I was considering also studying automotive, but my mom kind of pushed me away from it because she didn't want me getting my hands dirty, and you know, my physique isn't really the best. I'm like really skinny. And yeah, she kind of pushed me away from it, and I kind of didn't know what I wanted to study, so I kind of just picked up bioscience because that's what my brother did. I was like, maybe if anything he can help me out with it. And yeah, without that passion, like I just kind of like dropped it eventually at one point, and that's how I am where I am right now.
Yeah, it was. My mom felt the same way. Oh my gosh, she's like, not gonna have you get your hands dirty. Not gonna have you work so hard for, you know. They think mechanics don't make a lot of money, but money wasn't a big thing for me because I had a passion. I didn't care. I was like, I have heart for this, you know. It's like a fire that's burning inside of me, and I'm just gonna go do it.
That's good, man.
That's what drove me, man. And every day, you know, I come in. I was the first one there, and I'm the last one to leave. It was like that for me for years. So
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing to have that. I feel I definitely feel like I have the energy to try to do different things, but we have like a spectrum right here, right? So you have this passion for this single thing, which is like really great. For me, I feel like passionate about like a lot of things, and I cannot freaking figure out what I want to do exactly, like, which is normal. And then a lot of people are also like Johnny. They're still looking, and I think no matter where you are, all these three things are pretty normal. I like people I meet have a mix of these three things, which is that's the spectrum.
Exactly. It's and that's why, like, my nieces or my little cousins, I always ask them, hey, I want you to think about this. not just once. I want you to think about this, constantly. Okay, what is it that you love doing? What is something that will make you happy as a job? What is something that you would do for free? What is something that that really makes you get out of bed in the morning and go and do it? And so I always ask younger people that question, even when I was tutoring kids as well. I did tutor kids for a little while. I'm like, hey, think about what you want to do, because a lot of people don't know what they want to do, and they end up at a job that they don't like, and it's not fun. And it's funny because I have a lot of when I was at Toyota, I was working at Toyota, there was a lot of older guys there, and they all asked me, why do you want to do this?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, to me, I have the passion for it, but they don't know that. They don't know that I'm passionate about what I do, because those guys got that job because they needed a job. I got this job because I wanted this job. So, you know what I mean? So,
one question I wanted to ask you, Johnny, actually was, what made you decide on military when you did go?
Yeah, I was going to ask that question.
So basically, as mentioned, I was doing bioscience and I didn't like it, and I really had no idea what else to switch to in terms of majors or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And so I was, kind of looked around and see what other people were doing, and one of our other friends, Peter and Christian, both of them actually joined the military as well, and they seemed to like it. So I was like, sure, why not? I'll go find out more info about it. And yeah, one thing led to another, and I eventually joined.
Nice.
Yeah.
So did you end up liking the experience?
So it's been a mixed bag so far. But overall, I'm glad I did join. I've learned a lot, and I also narrowed down what I don't like about it. So there's a lot to take away from it.
Nice. That's good. Yeah, even in my experience, where not knowing exactly what I want. I mean, me and Johnny are in the same sort of area there. It's like the more you experience, the more you know you don't want a certain thing.
Yeah.
So that's a part of the journey in discovering. I feel like you don't have to have just one thing that you're super passionate about, but
yeah, it's true.
But
I have other passions too.
Yeah, because when people say you have to find that one thing that you can do for the rest of your life, I'm like, man, it's I mean, if you enjoy it, sure, but for me, I can't think of doing one thing for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right? I have to do this one thing for the next 50 years of my life. It's like, well, of course, as we get older, the journey gets more interesting. It gets more busy. We start to put our hand in that pot. We start to put our hand in that pot, this pot, that pot. So you have all these other things that are going on as well.
Yeah. Exploration is one of my passions. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a contradiction to the find one passion thing.
Yeah. I mean, my other passion is motorcycling. I love riding motorcycles. And I want to collect motorcycles. And I have a passion for tools. I like collecting tools. I have like $12,000 worth of tools at work. And I have multiple cars. I just have all these other passions behind me. Keeps building and building as you get older.
I try to avoid as much material things as possible, as in like buying material things, but then I buy so many camera stuff.
It's all right, you're smart.
No, that's no excuse for
keep more money in your pocket. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, but I mean, if we do have younger viewers, who our views is, yeah, having a passion is fantastic, but I'm not gonna say that it's gonna be sunshine and rainbows the whole way. You're gonna hit bumps. You're gonna hit places where that flame is out. I've been through that. I've had rough patches where I wanted to quit, being a mechanic. I wanted to stop working on cars. I wanted to throw in the towel and just like,
what brought you to that?
Well, I've been thinking about it a lot ever since I moved to Porsche, and I was like, number one, the most important thing is you got to find a company that's willing to work with you and back you on your passion. Because when I moved to Porsche, my service manager, he's a very passionate guy, and he very passionate at what he does. So when I went in an interview, we clicked because I was like, hey, this is my passion, this is my life passion. I've been into cars since I was a kid. So we clicked. So find a place that values your passion. Because at Toyota, they didn't value that. They didn't value me that much. I was just another person. They didn't care if I succeeded. They didn't care. At Porsche, they care about your success, and they're willing to invest in you and make you grow into a bigger and better person. So that's number one. If you do have a passion for something, find a company, or unless you're going to open your own company, you have that support for your passion. At Toyota, it was going out, man. It was bad. It was rough. It wasn't fun. A lot of politics, a lot of BS. Number two, I was getting ridiculed at home. I wasn't making much money. It was bad. Where I had to throw in the towel. I'm like, I might have to throw in the towel and find something else. But I didn't. I kept going, and now the flame is back and the passion's back, and
that's great. I mean, it's totally understandable when you have an environment or like a feedback loop that basically tells you that your enthusiasm doesn't matter. The loop is you express your enthusiasm, your passion, and you do all these things, and then what happens is the feedback is I don't care, or nothing happens, or the people around you just bring you down. So finding a feedback loop where it actually encourages you to keep going with it is very important. Yes.
And at the time, I have a service advisor. He was very toxic, very, very toxic. He wouldn't let me go to lunch. I actually went down at work. I went in at 7. I didn't eat till I blacked out at 5. I worked all day long, no lunch. I didn't eat anything. Yeah, I went out, and
like, did you just collapse or something, or?
Yeah, I was working on a car, and I felt very weak and faint, and then I blacked out. Yeah. Yeah, man. I was working in very, very bad work environment conditions.
I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And the nurse that was helping me in the ER, she told me, Jimmy, once you lose it, you can't get it back. And so that made me realize I'm okay. You gotta take care of myself. And this place is not valuing me. They don't care about me. Because you know why? They sent me the bill afterwards. They didn't pay for it. My company didn't pay for it. They sent me the hospital bill.
Wow. I think you brought up a very important point. I noticed too, where I work, it's not necessarily always what you do for work, but sometimes it's also up to who you do it with. Like you could be doing the same work with different groups of people and have two totally different opinions on it. Is what I see while I work.
Exactly.
Definitely.
But yeah, like for the younger viewers, if if your first time getting a job or whatever it is, find a good company. Work for the big companies. They take care of their own. Because I worked for a small company and they don't care about you. Hell no, they're not gonna take care of you.
That's
it could work in reverse too.
Yeah, that is somewhat of a generalization.
Yeah, kinda. Some companies, but I moved on to a bigger and better company, and so far it's okay.
Yeah, from your experience, that it worked out that way. But yeah, I can definitely see some smaller teams, supporting each other more because they are smaller, because there's less people, they know each other more. Usually, it's statistically it's easier that way. But for instance, like big companies like Google or Amazon, not Google. Google actually has like their base and people work at their base, so they do know each other. But like, I guess, like say Amazon, where they're working in the warehouses, you know, those people don't get as much connection with the other people who are like developers or something. There's always different aspects of a team, but
Yeah.
To feel like your work matters is very important, and the people around you certainly influence that feeling.
Yep. The atmosphere, you know, and, you know, being recognized, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, for me,
yeah.
I feel like I've had a very different experience from both of you, because like I work alone basically. I'm not talking about I pretty much won't ever talk about my part-time work unless I'm specifically mentioning it. For me, my work is like actually making videos or something, or like doing my own projects and stuff. So for me, that stuff is very, very difficult to sustain in terms of mental health, as well as just enthusiasm and energy. Difficult, but not, you know, it's not impossible. I've been doing this for like about 3 years now. So doing this stuff alone is like, in a word, it's very lonely. So I've always, I think this year was when I started to try to reach out to more people, and because of coronavirus, that didn't happen. But but like after that ends, I think I'm gonna do way more projects with other people. I mean, I'm doing it with you guys right now, so that's different already. So
And we've talked about what I want to do, so
yeah.
Let's not
So
talk about that, you know.
so for me, like doing projects with other people has been a priority these days, because I find myself lacking the motivation to do certain projects alone. I know I will eventually come back to that, because that's what you do as a creator on YouTube. Most of the time, you look at YouTubers, they are solo creators. The majority of them are, and if you can't sustain that, then it's gonna be a tough journey. But for me, I think I'm at a low in terms of that, but I'm sort of like resting. It's like a resting period for me, and then I'm gonna come back.
Yeah, it gives you time to think and what you want to do, you know, and what you want to create, and who you want to collab with, and stuff like that.
You need breaks as a creative person. I think breaks are very important.
Yes, definitely. And and I mean, even if you work at a regular job, I mean, you need breaks too. So Johnny needs his break. We all need our breaks. But yeah, when I was younger, when I was first starting out working, I didn't believe in vacation days. I just worked. I was a workaholic. I'd work 6 days a week. I'd work 7 days if they were open Sundays, but I worked 6 days a week, 12-hour days. So I didn't believe in breaks. And yeah, Scott brought up a really good point. It's very important that you take a break every once in a while. It gives you time to collect, you know, look back on it and see how far you've come, and all right, what's my next move? You know, what's the next thing I'm gonna do? What's the next goal that I'm gonna meet? Stuff like that. So
yeah, I think it's gonna be for me. The plans I have, I think, in my mind, they're pretty fun. So I have to just find people to do it with. I mean, I do have people to do it with. I just have to have the energy to ask them, or to
make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the cool thing about passion, dude. Like, especially when you're a creator and you show off that passion, it's just you're like, I don't feel like I'm working, but it's freaking, you know, I'm having fun. You know, I just don't feel like I'm working, you know. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, just as disillusionment, there is a lot you have to do as a creator. I bet. I mean, I'm sure most creators give off that vibe of like, I love what I'm doing. So it's not like work, which a part of it will be, but there are parts in the process that are tough and that are things you don't want to do for sure, and are mundane, and it's just, you got to do it if you want to like make a living out of it.
Yeah,
I'm still taking that advice myself, because there's a lot of things you have to do as a creator, just like that you don't want to do. But
It's fantastic. You know what? You know what I built over the years. I don't know how I I made my mind do this, but it's sort of like an autopilot. You guys have that where like you just like you're in autopilot mode. You just go through the motions. You do things. And then you're like, oh, okay, well, we're at this point now. Because that's how I feel. Because especially when I do engines, I do big jobs like an engine.
Yeah.
And I'm standing there. I'm just like looking at like thousands of pieces on the floor. And I'm just like, I don't know how this goes back together. I don't know. And it's 8 a.m. right now. I don't know what's going to happen at 5 p.m. today. All right, let's get started. We'll just start here. And then suddenly I'm just in autopilot and I just do it, and then by 5 p.m. I'm like, oh, the engine's back in the car. Okay, we can start it tomorrow.
yeah, I mean, like you just basically explained a puzzle right there, like one of them jigsaw puzzles where you just like you see.
Okay, you just start somewhere and like.
Yeah.
I can't do autopilot.
You
that
can't?
doesn't happen for me, no.
And now and slowly I'm starting to incorporate that into what I do at home. I see if I had to mow the lawn, I just do it, and then I'm like, oh, it's over. Or I gotta go fix something, or I gotta go paint my hallway, or I gotta go paint that room. It just, I don't know. It's weird. I can't explain it that well, but that's how I feel. Like you kind of just autopilot.
I mean, you're sort of describing flow, but in some ways, yeah, you're basically describing flow. When you get into a state of mind where you're just focused on the task, or you don't even necessarily have to be focused on the task, you're just doing it, and then time passes by really fast. Normally flow requires some focus though, but I think for me, when I do go to autopilot mode, or at least the mode you're describing, it's usually when I'm doing something that doesn't require too much thought, and then I just either I listen to a podcast or just think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like driving.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't want to hear that.
no.
Johnny, I do that too when I drive. Well, in traffic, you're sitting in traffic, you're like, I'm gonna zone out and then I'll be home in a few. And you're like, oh, I'm home. All right, cool.
No, that doesn't happen for me. I'm like constantly thinking about everything.
I mean, you're conscious. You're thinking of things.
Okay.
You're thinking of it, but like, it just gets done. Like you're just doing it. Like you just go through your motions and it gets done. You're just like, oh, okay, cool.
Are you kind of like talking about how like it's easier to start something? I mean, it's harder to start something, and then like just let it take over.
Because whenever I have an engine apart, if I'm doing an engine job or whatever I'm rebuilding or taking apart, I look at the pieces and I get overwhelmed.
Okay.
It happens. I've had a car for 3 weeks where like I've torn everything apart. It's like thousands of pieces everywhere.
Yeah.
Screws that I have no idea where those screws go.
Yeah, so basically, like the hardest part is like starting, but once you get started, it just.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. You
continues.
can say so. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those are two concepts that work hand in hand. Basically, the two things that you guys are describing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's a weird phenomenon for me for some reason. I don't know. It just. Oh, okay.
I mean, it's good. It's good that you have that thing pop up when you need it.
Yeah.
So earlier, Scott brought up the word plan, and like in my head, I'm just thinking right now, as it stands, I kind of stopped planning for anything in my life, as weird as it sounds. Because before growing up, especially during high school, like I had like a mindset of how things would turn out after high school, and like it completely broke apart and fell out the window, and it like really upset me, and like I went through a phase where I was like really out of it and like really down, and I don't want to have that feeling again. So like from then on, I kind of like stopped planning anything and just kind of like went with the flow. Because as weird as this sounds, like if you don't expect anything, you kind of like you're grateful for anything that happens. As opposed to the opposite, where you're expecting something and like you don't get it, and you're kind of like, oh man, I didn't get it. That's horrible. But in a way, like, I guess you could flip it and say like, oh, you don't have a plan, you don't have passion or anything. So yeah, like, what is your guys' take on that?
I do think what you're saying, that particular thing is not what I would do, because for me, I mean, you know me, I'm a planner. I'm somebody that tries to always know what he's doing. I mean, I use my planner daily. I basically never go through a day without having some sort of structure. And I've been that way ever since high school. So for me, that's just ingrained into me. It's not even something I can not do anymore, which is, it can be a bad thing. Oftentimes things are not black and white, it's a mix. So for me, the downside is it makes it hard to relax sometimes, or like when I don't get something done on my schedule, that pain that you described of being disappointed does arrive. And for you, the issue is without a plan, it can sometimes be harder to reach where you want to go. So having sort of both, like a mix of these, is a good idea, is my opinion. But
yeah.
So for me, that mix is planning to take a break. You know what I mean?
Planning to take breaks.
Yeah, I'm a pretty planned guy during the week, but on the weekends I'm not a planned guy.
Okay, that's a good way to go about it.
Yeah, during my week I like to actually no, it depends, because my job sort of, whatever comes in that day, I have to plan on the fly. Like, okay, this car's coming in, and if I sell this, whatever, and this, I know that this car is gonna sit here for the next 2 days, so I can, get another car in and start. When you're a mechanic and you're trying to make money, you have to like play around with your work. Like, okay, I can, because you only have one stall. Well, my situation, I have only one stall. When I was at Toyota, I had 2 stalls, so you sort of have to play around with your pattern of work that day. So if you got a lot of services that day, or you want the car in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, and make your money. If you're gonna do an engine work like me, I'm gonna be on this engine for 4 days, and any work in between, I gotta go and work somewhere else. Because my life is like that. On the weekends, I like to relax. I don't like to plan anything on the weekend. Anything goes in the weekend, as long as I can make it happen or I can make it work. That
tends to be what I've been doing lately. Is my weekends are sort of more freestyle, but I still try to get some stuff done. But yeah, it's always changing. My way of doing things is always changing, which for me is a good thing, because I feel like if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you'll eventually stagnate, or there will be a sense of just no movement.
No, I agree with you, Scott. I feel the same way that what you just described. You got to keep it exciting. You got to keep it, always new. And luckily at my job, it's never the same every day. It's always a different problem that day, a different thing I got to solve that day. It's always something new, which is why I enjoy being a mechanic. It's because I get bored. If everything is mundane, I get bored, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. So you don't like doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah. Yep. When I was a kid, I think one of my dream jobs was being an odd job person. My idea of an odd job person is just somebody that gets commission to do like random stuff, basically. So you're supposed to have like a wide variety of skill sets, and then they hire you to just, you know, do it. So, so that was one of my dream jobs, I suppose.
Yes. You know, and you brought up your skill set, which really reminded me of something I went through in college. Since this is about college, in college, I knew that academically I wasn't the smartest guy. I'm not the smartest guy academically. So I told myself, all right, Jimmy, if you're not academically, you know, you're not smart, then you've got to work on skill sets. So in college, ever since college, I started to learn skills. Like I was very interested in learning how to do calligraphy, or you know, how to do drywall, or whatever it is, fix a car, because I was in a very learning a skill environment because of the automotive school. So I sort of told myself that, hey, you know, in order to make up for that, you know, I'm not smart, I have to have a very good skill set. That's the thing. If there's a skill that's very, you know, useful, I'm gonna learn it. So survival skills, you know, bunch of skill. You know, I don't know how do you guys feel on that?
Oh, that's a great sort of. I mean, if the premise is true, then that's a great way to approach it. But of course, personally, I believe that a lot of people. I mean, what even is smart, right? What do you mean by smart, right? Are you talking about academia, writing research papers, conducting research, being a teacher in schools, stuff like that? Is that what you mean by smart? Because smart can mean so many different things.
That's true.
Yeah.
Or saying that there's a chance of me not getting a college degree, basically.
Okay.
You know, I have my associates, but I don't have my bachelor's. So I'm like, okay, I'm already behind someone that has their bachelor's. So I got to make up for that loss and build these other skill sets. Like I started building a bunch of skills here and there.
But here's the thing. If you decided to go full force in learning and actually trying to pass those classes and get the degree, could you do it? Do you think you could do it?
I don't know. I'll pass them, but I'm not going to be like, you know, A+ student, you know what I mean?
You're not gonna excel is what you're saying.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, I got to make up for this somewhere else.
So it's just a sort of interest, right? Do you feel like interest has a lot to do with it?
Interest? Yes.
So you don't have the interest to actually like study or learn the subjects and do well on the tests and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, because for me, I believe everyone has the aptitude to actually learn new things. It's just how it's delivered that matters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's how I felt. I was like, okay, I know I'm good with my hands. I gotta find things to do with my hands and excel at that, because I was excelling. I mean, automotive school, I was a 4.0 student. I made the dean's list, stuff like that, because like I said, I was interested in the things I was learning, so I excelled in them. So
yeah.
But yeah, I had to make it up somehow, because knowing that I'm not gonna, you know. Is that weird?
So no, that's not weird. I think a lot of people shouldn't say that, you know, I'm not smart. It's just the school system for them doesn't play to what they enjoy or how they operate. Their preferred method of, you know, operating. I say it like you're a robot, but but that's
in a way we kind of are. We're all programmed differently.
Yeah, that's how I think of it. So
that's true.
Yeah, I mean there are so many like examples of like people dropping out of college, right, and being so successful, like Jack Ma, Mark Zuckerberg, and all that, right? I wouldn't say like they're stupid or anything, right? Just because they don't have a college degree.
Well, definitely not. But yeah, it really depends. To me, in my opinion, it depends on, you know, whether or not you want to put that effort in. That's the thing that is the most important. Of course, there's going to be people who, biologically speaking, don't have the same capabilities, like IQ level or whatever you want to say, but I still think people can learn the basic subjects and basic like educational level of a college student totally fine at the same level as others.
Yeah, and you know, another thing is the labeling. You know what I mean? Because it's gonna sound really weird, but I come from a Vietnamese family, and I think Johnny can relate to this, or you too, Scott. Vietnamese people care about labeling. Oh, my son's a doctor. Oh, my son is an engineer, or a son or daughter, whatever. You know, they like those names. So when I growing up, I was like, I need to get a title. So again, when I was telling you guys, it was a really big fight for me to get to where I am today, because my mom wanted me to have that title, that I am college educated, I'm an engineer, or I'm a doctor. She didn't want to say my son is a mechanic or my son works on cars.
I see.
So that was a very, very hard.
Yeah,
it was very difficult to fight for that.
Yeah, I mean, titles are, I feel like titles indicate status, and status is important to everyone, not just Vietnamese people. But I can I can definitely understand the Asian sort of influence of how our parents, who are the first to immigrate to America, sort of want their children to be of higher status, you know, to have steady incomes and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's sort of their priority almost, instead of our own our own sort of passion. Yeah.
You know, and
yeah, I definitely felt that when I told my mom like I wanted to join the military. She cried for days begging me like not to go.
Oh man.
Which I guess is normal, right? But like she was really against me like leaving for the military. And
what was her reasoning?
Just kind of like it doesn't lead to a good life, and like, you know, people are gonna look down on you and stuff like that. So yeah,
I feel like
that same issue.
I feel like that's the opposite in America, at least. Like a lot of people are very respectful for veterans or people who served time.
Yeah, I mean it's half. Especially here in Hawaii, a lot of people, locals, don't really like the military, but yeah, I think especially coming from the background I did, like my mom was against me joining the military, but eventually it's turned around now. She kind of sees that I enjoy what I do and it's rewarding. So
yeah, so for the younger viewers, just do what you love doing.
By the way, O2 podcast, we're talking just mainly about anything, but the theme is we're talking about college and passions right now.
Yes, I am in Hawaii. And
Miss Boyd, thanks for joining, Miss Boyd.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, Scott. What does your mom think about the things that you're doing right now, being a creator? And
she definitely resisted. I mean, she definitely didn't like it. She wanted me. I mean, she tells me to find a job every like other week, basically. Find a real job every other week, basically. I don't know, because obviously nobody in my family does the stuff I do, basically. So she's not seen an example of actual success with it, you know? And succeeding with it also takes a lot of time and energy, and the likelihood of success is also very low. So it's definitely something she feels I'm risking that I don't need to risk. And she knows that I'm she thinks I'm a very smart kid, and that I can.
I do too.
and that I can basically do so much more in terms of, finding a good job that pays a lot. But so I guess in a way she thinks I'm wasting my potential. And that weighs down on me sometimes,
Yeah, I bet it's difficult, but
Yeah.
But remember, this is the only period of our lives. I thought about this, the mid-20s or early 20s, late 20s. This is the only. Well, I don't want to say only, but I'm saying like this is probably the best time for us to experiment things and stuff like that. Because I'm not sure what you have planned for the future, Scott. If you're going to settle down and have a family, but I feel like right now is the time for us to discover more, explore more.
Yeah, definitely 20s, man.
Yeah, it's better to make those mistakes early, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
The O2 podcast says status is what makes people feel good about themselves, can classify them into groups that people can easily just say, oh, this person is X. It's simple to classify things in those categories. That's definitely true. But I do think, unfortunately, status is ingrained in our sort of hormonal system as well. Because if you feel like you're part of something that, like say you're for climate change and you're working towards making sure climate change is being addressed, then you can feel pride in that. So in a way, your status as a member of that group encourages good feelings. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, I feel. But yeah.
But you think it's like kind of dividing up our society? Like you got, that group, that group of people, and then it's like
I'm gonna say you can never get rid of never get rid of groups or identity, because that's how else are you gonna sort of address things in a broad way. Division is gonna happen no matter what. Even if let's say we're all humans, right?
Yep.
We're divided. And then you can say, for instance, I'm Asian. We're still divided. Oh, I'm Chinese. We're still divided. No matter how many groups you put it into, you're still going to be divided on something.
That's true.
So I don't think it necessarily is dividing us more. It's just the way we carry out our discourse,
Okay. Yeah, I totally agree. But yeah, I mean, that's crazy how all three of us took three different routes or three different paths in life as of now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm sorry, the chat might go over your screen a little bit, Jimmy. I'm still so new to this stuff, so yeah, I'll fix that later.
Calories are just sad. Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Yeah, but what were we talking about before?
Well, we were talking about college and passion, and
I have not been podcasting for super long. I've done probably about, for us three, we're all friends, third grade friends, and we're in our 20s now, but this is our third time doing it together. For me personally, I've done podcasts or discussions with other people a lot, at least a year's worth.
This is my first podcast. Well, first time doing this.
Yeah. The other discussions I have are mainly about movies and TV shows, so it's different.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm a noob, so I don't know if you want to get tips from a noob. I suggest you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just have fun.
Yeah, that's how it goes, but
yeah. Depends what you're going for, really. For us right now, we're just having fun.
What TV shows? What do you talk about, Scott, in your other podcast? Segue.
Oh yeah, my other podcast is called Blue Lotus. It's on YouTube, but yeah, the actual podcast is not handled very well because like podcasting implies you have this audio format somewhere online. Also, if you want to try to look for it, you might have to type in like Blue Lotus avatar. Almost stuttered there. But you'll see a blue lotus symbol with like black background. But yeah, we talk a lot about Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Okay.
As for TV shows, we recently did a discussion on Queen's Gambit. Game of Thrones was something we talked about quite a lot back then. I don't know if we made videos on that though. but yeah. More movies, I feel.
But yeah, Johnny, do you remember when you were working with me for a period of time?
Yes, I do. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
That was a fun 3 months.
Yeah, it was fun.
Wait, you guys worked at Toyota together?
Yep.
We did, yeah.
So Johnny had a set date to get shipped out to boot camp. But it kept getting postponed, right, Johnny? So
yeah.
You're like,
I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah. So he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do in the meantime. I'm like, I'm going to try and get you a job to be a porter, which porter means Johnny's just going to park cars all day long or bring customer cars to the customers.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to my service manager and he agreed and hired Johnny on right away. And dude, it was like, in my opinion, the most fun 3 months I've had because I had one of my really good friends at work. It's just funny seeing him at work.
Yeah, dude, I've always really, really wanted to work with others that are like my friends and stuff. That's always been my dream. Like, it's part of my end goal, I guess.
Right.
Like, I've always imagined myself having this. I told my other friend Ben, it was in my Dreamlet podcast, my other one, that I wanted to have like this place in the future where we can all just get together anytime we want. So like we all have access to the place, like it could be a house or whatever, and then we just do stuff together, like projects, like video projects, podcasts or whatever,
Yeah.
Like that's part of what I want. Like that's in my vision of 100%. I want to make that happen. So I definitely will try, but I know it's a difficult thing because
maybe later. I mean, that's what I want to turn my place into. That's why I told you and my other friends that like to do videos that, hey, I do have a maker space here. Yeah. We could do a bunch of things. We could do car stuff in the garage. We can do podcasts in the living room. There's a lot of things that we can do. I have a maker space.
We'll definitely make it happen.
Yeah. But yeah, it was the best 3 months of working. I was able to show Johnny what I do for a living. I thought that was cool, and Johnny got the inside scoop of how my day goes and what my routine was. That was fun. And remember we used to drive to San Diego after work? Dude, we were crazy people.
yeah. I missed it.
Saturdays, dude. Saturdays, me and Johnny, like, I think I would finish up work. Like, I'll just be, it was the end of the day for me. We were going to close at 5, so like 4:30. I was like, hey, Johnny, you want to do something tonight? And Johnny's like, we should get some Phil's barbecue in San Diego. I'm like, I am down. Let's freaking do it.
So Miss Boyd asked me if I ever thought about teaching. No, I have not. And the reason why is I feel like the best teachers are like the teachers who like know their stuff, like, are experts, in their field or whatever.
You sure about that? Was Mr. Lamore an expert? No, just kidding.
And yeah, for me, I don't think I'm good enough in any particular area right now. Or I need to focus on one thing first before I would consider teaching that.
What about the future, Johnny? Like, did you ever think, okay, I can teach this later on? Because I felt that way. I want to be a teacher, an automotive teacher. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of teaching, hey McNugget, late to the party, but I'm so happy to be catching this episode live. Yeah, I'm happy you're here. It's nice to finally catch you in an episode. It's Britt, guys. It's Brittany.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Hi, Britt.
Hey, Brittany. I'm actually curious, Miss Boyd, like how do you choose teaching? Yeah, that's something I want to know.
It's because she loves teaching.
Yeah, that's a great question. Like what I have 2 friends that are teachers now, and I don't think I've actually like in depth asked them what made you decide on teaching. But yeah, let us know. In the meantime, I was mentioning while we were talking about teaching on the subject matter of teaching, I actually 100% want to do piano teaching, because I did mention it, I think, in the last episode where I got a diploma for teaching piano. So I was gonna do that this year. There's so many things I wanted to do this year, like that were planned, but because of COVID, there's no way to actually do that. For me, I don't want to do online lessons because it's piano, and it's way better if I'm actually there in person and can see them and hear the proper. Like, I don't want them to have to buy really great mics or whatever for me to hear it properly. So yeah,
I think a piano should be a very personal type of thing.
I enjoyed my lessons with my teacher.
It's I feel that way for some things.
Yeah, so that's 100% something I'm gonna try to do. Yeah, Miss Boyd says, "Gee, I knew when I was in elementary school, and I met my best friends there at Garvey." Yeah.
Miss Boyd, you were a fantastic teacher. I'm gonna say that again.
Yes, you were.
I had a good time in your class.
We kid on.
I do remember having fun.
It was a very fun class.
Yeah.
Loud class.
Yeah.
I remember that. Everyone would be talking and talking and talking.
Yeah.
It's better than having the opposite where no one's talking.
Yeah, but for me, I wanted to become an automotive professor. Well, at the college level, as teaching actual people to go get their certificates and pass their tests and go on and get a job. Because it looked like fun. What my professor, because I had a very good professor. He was a very passionate guy, and influenced me. I'm like, man, I wouldn't mind, because being a mechanic, it's hard to do it for 50 years. It's very, very hard to do it for 50 years. So yeah, if my back goes out or I get injured, teaching's it. I want to be a teacher.
Yeah, I mean, I think teaching is a very fulfilling experience, because I've actually taught piano to my cousins before. So whenever I actually teach them and they successfully learn a piece or something, it feels very satisfying to know that it's because of my teaching that they were able to do that.
Exactly.
So you've sort of affected a person's life in a positive way. And I think that's very important.
Yep.
In terms of the aspect of finding fulfillment in life. Do any of you guys plan to have kids? I do.
Thanks.
I do want to have kids. 100%.
Okay. That's funny. Growing up, for whatever reason, I was all like, yes, I want to have kids as early as I can. But recently, like the last few years, I'm like, no, I'm totally not ready. I don't want any right now. But yeah.
In the future, though.
Miss White said, I told Tang you cheated on your oral in her class. She was like, okay, so she's talking about when me and Johnny did our presentation and we plagiarized when we were in 7th grade. Okay, so that's should be noted, 7th grade. All right.
It's gonna start haunting us now.
And that's not cheating. That's plagiarism. It's different.
I wish I was a part of that, but I wasn't.
You wish you were a part of our plagiarism?
Sure, why not? I wouldn't feel. I would feel. Yeah, I would be laughing very hard right now. And yes, I do plan on having kids. I'm gonna answer that question. I've always wanted kids. Weirdly.
And that's not a weird thing. I feel like most people want kids. Most people have kids, right?
Well, most people call me a dad already. I'm very dad-like. You know, the things I do. Mowing the lawn constantly.
Mowing a lawn doesn't make you a dad, Jimmy.
Mowing the lawn, wearing comfortable shoes, making dad jokes. Man.
Okay, hold on. Let's catch up on some comments. All of you have great personalities for teaching because you're sincere and honest. Thank you very much.
Not so honest when we were plagiarizing.
But at least you're honest now.
That is true. We eventually became honest about it.
She watched the tape, but with 2 kids, she didn't have time to go through the whole video. Make sense?
Okay.
While Scott defending plagiarism, never would have guessed. JK. I do not. I'm not a defendant for plagiarism. I do not defend plagiarism. I do not condone it.
I think plagiarism. Everyone's done it. I plagiarized all the way through high school.
Yo, when you're a kid, you 100% have plagiarized because having thoughts that are completely original on a subject that is completely new is near impossible. To form a true opinion, you need to have exposure to a lot of different information. So plagiarism is almost inevitable when you're young.
Wow.
Very true.
Yeah.
I just reworded everything. I was like, I can use this word. Change out that word.
You mean paraphrasing?
Paraphrasing.
Which is technically also plagiarism, unless you cite the source.
That's why you got the source page at the end. Wikipedia.org. Or no, Wikipedia. Whatever. I already forgot.
Yeah.
That is a good argument, though. You should remember that for when your kid gets caught for plagiarism, Scott, in the future.
Sure. But yeah, for paraphrasing, I actually relearned what plagiarism meant because my cousin, who's in high school, I think sophomore year, had to take a test. They actually make them take tests now before starting the school year on what plagiarism is so that they can avoid it. But basically, if you cite stuff, you most likely did not plagiarize. So just make sure you cite stuff properly, and don't do word for word too much.
Miss Boyd says I'm dad-like.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So Johnny, kids or no kids?
Right now, no.
Oh, really?
But
Interesting.
in the future, yes, right?
Maybe. We'll see if that changes or not.
Come on, man.
But yeah, during high school, I was like, yes, I want kids as soon as possible, but
Hi, Belle.
that changed.
Yeah, it's Belle.
And funny, someone mentioned the thesaurus. Do you guys remember when we did essays in Boyd's class, we submitted it to a certain site? I forgot what the site was called.
Oh, yes. I remember.
Yeah.
What site was that, Miss Boyd?
Yeah. But since someone brought up the thesaurus, for some reason, I remember that when you were like submitting your essay, if you changed your word to like a fancier version of that word, like throughout your essay, you would get a higher score for whatever you
Yes, I remember now. I remember that website.
I mean, it is very it is a writing thing where if you use better vocabulary, because certain description or descriptive words are better than others. They paint a better picture. That's also true for like fiction writing as well, which I like getting into.
I always thought bigger was better. So
not always.
words
Simple writing is good too. Simple writing is good.
That's true.
As long as you can get your point across. Depends on what type of medium you're writing for.
You know, that's the problem I had. This is a weird segue. Whenever I wrote an essay, I always never got to the point. I kind of like went around in circles, and then I got to my point. And yeah, AP really screwed me up, guys. I would never forgive AP English classes ever.
Miss Boyd, your class helped me out on my essays so much. that was where I improved English the most, honestly.
Self-incriminating. No, elementary schools don't care. It's been I don't think elementary schools care.
They're gonna come back and dispute us on all of our grades.
It doesn't matter.
Dude, I wonder if our permanent records still there. Have you been in the permanent like where your permanent record is? That's like a freaking vault.
Wait, what? Permanent record? What do you mean?
Like your permanent school record.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a vault. Because I think in San Gabriel High School, I had to get my record for something. I think it was for college. And they took me into this room, and it was like a freaking vault. And I had everyone's record.
Hold on. Pandemonic said they are going to revoke your high school diploma, and you are going to catch a few high school classes at your same age right now to get it back. I actually have that as a reoccurring nightmare. Legit, I've had dreams like that. No joke. I've had not they didn't revoke anything, but I've had dreams where I went back to high school and I had to take extra classes for whatever reason. Even for college, I've had dreams about that, where it's my fourth year, and then I already graduated because I graduated early. I'm like, why am I here? You know, I've always had dreams where I ask myself, what the heck am I doing in school again? But yeah, I that's also because I have dreams every night and I write them down, so it's easy to have similar dreams.
Okay.
Do you guys ever drive by a school and just be like, I don't have to be there anymore. I'm an adult. Just drive away.
Yeah. I drive back to school sometimes and I reminisce. I like old memories. Like me and AC actually went back to Emerson when we were in college, I think.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like we visited.
Yeah, I don't know. When I drive by a school, I just think, oh man, they have it so easy. No responsibilities yet.
Yeah, that's true. Anyways, I think we totally skipped over our college experiences.
Yeah, we went off on a big tangent.
Yeah, but
I got my college thing in, kind of.
yeah.
To be fair, I only did college for 2 years and sat around waiting for the military.
Johnny, how long did you wait? I forgot. It was a pretty long waiting period.
I waited for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, because when I left, you guys were like getting your like people were graduating college, and I was like, I'm barely joined the military now.
I was working.
I remembered that period of time when you were just waiting. I always thought, I don't want Johnny to go. And then we would hang out, and then you would talk about like, yeah, you still haven't done it yet. And I was like, yes, secretly. But I know in your mind you wanted to go, so yeah.
I think we wanted you to not go until like after Scott's annual party. But you left before, so we were like, oh man, he didn't make it to that year's annual get together.
Yeah.
If you remember correctly, Scott, because I think you left in April, right, Johnny? April or May?
I left in May.
Yeah, like early May.
Yeah. So Patamonic said, same. I don't always write it down though for dreams. Yeah, I do miss days. I don't always write it down. Depends on my mood, but I do have like a journal filled with dreams. Like probably over 1,000. Scott, we're too similar. You're just a lot older. You know, if we're within 5 years of age, I consider us to be similar in age group. Just wondering, why don't you guys just chat instead of talk shows and podcasts? That's a great question. We should consider that. Jimmy, I don't have to be there anymore.
Oh, she's just quoting me.
Oh. I feel like just chatting and talk show and podcast are intertwined. Yeah, I mean, they're just different labels, I feel, but I do feel like our mood is definitely like just chatting is probably a better category. Cute doggo, yes, thank you.
Very
Oh,
cute
my
dog.
my major in college was physics. I minored in math and computer science.
Like I said, smart.
That just because you major in something doesn't necessarily mean you're
I'm
smart.
just kidding.
But yes, thank you, Jimmy. College. Let's see if I can bring up. Like, I should have invited my college friends to join the chat, but maybe I'll send them the episode. College was a fun experience. I dormed all 3 years, so had roommates. We always hung out, played a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh before tests. Here's my usual sort of night before the test experience. Me and my 3 roommates were all not 3 roommates, 2 roommates. So there's 3 of us. We're all physics majors. So we dormed together 2nd year and 3rd year. And for the physics tests, what we would always do, our ritual was study for the entire day. And then at the end, like at 2 a.m., we would just duel each other for like an hour or 2. And then like sleep super super late, wake up and then do the test. That's our ritual. And somehow we managed to all, I mean, I consider my 2 roommates to be smarter than me. Like I barely got cum laude for college, meaning I got a higher than 3.5, and I believe both of them did as well. So yeah.
I remember, Scott, you got really good at pool. Or you're really good at pool.
In college, I loved playing pool. Yeah, that was
all the trick shots, making the ball spin, making it go around.
Yeah. In college, I actually beat someone without them making a single ball in, because I broke, made one, and then missed only one shot. They missed their shot, and then I made everything else in afterwards. So I was super proud of that. I was super proud of
The
that.
actual things you learn in college.
Yeah.
How to beat people at pool.
Because I think me and Johnny were getting into pool. Remember we used to go to the pool hall a lot, Johnny?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we were like, let's go visit Scott. And then we went to visit you. Then we played pool. And then you were like extremely good. So we were just like, oh shit.
Yeah, I love those days when we went to that pool hall and played together. That was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
I still suck at pool. Well, I'm not great at it.
I played with my dad when it's sort of around the time when my parents divorced, but I played with my dad a good amount. And sometimes I would yes, here's another quick fun pool story. So there was a day where me and my dad were playing, and then this guy, it's like a community area, so this guy came up, and like he's this super great pool player. He could do all the tricks. And what happened was I played him for one game, and he actually lost without me making a move. How I think I told you guys this story before, but basically what happened was he broke, and then he made the 8-ball in, but then he also made the cue ball in.
Oh.
So it was amazing. It was like so confusing. I don't know what the official rules are to that, but like if he makes the 8-ball in and the cue ball at the same time, it's usually a loss. So
that's an automatic loss. I think making the 8-ball in alone is a loss, isn't it?
If you break and make the 8-ball in, I believe that's a win. But because he made the cue ball in at the same time.
Oh.
Yeah. It's very difficult to make the 8-ball in because it's in the very center when you break. So yeah, he just hit it super hard, like incredibly hard. But yeah, pool is very fun. I would love to play more.
I wish I had space in my house to get a pool table.
Yeah. Anyways, let's see. What math did you minor in? It was called a math minor, so it's just a math minor. there's no like specific one, but you know, you had to take all the usual ones like linear algebra, discrete mathematics, multivariable, stuff like that. You had to take all that stuff to get the math minor. And my college experience sounded like Yu-Gi-Oh! GX anime. I did enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, but unfortunately after Chaz's voice actor left, I just couldn't stand his new one. So not theoretical physics for pool, yeah, definitely. No chill. Oh, I was very chill while playing pool. It was very fun.
Miss Boyd asks, "Why do you live in Hawaii, Johnny?"
Military.
Yeah, for my work. I'm based here in Hawaii right now.
Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
It's December 7th coming up. Are they doing anything in Pearl Harbor?
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, there's something coming up for it.
Yep.
Yeah, I have a lot of things to get ready for actually this Monday.
Nice.
World War II.
Do you guys have any college stories? I mean, I summed up my college experience in the academic realm really, really fast. But that was generally it. Me sleeping a lot, skipping classes, studying on my own with my roommates, and yeah.
For me, I have some stories. So straight out of high school, I went to college. I was still slacking. I was still, not taking it seriously, even though I'm doing what I love. And and then I told you guys I went to engineering, and I was part of the Shell Eco Marathon. We actually competed in Michigan. We built a car from scratch. It took us about 9 months to build that car. In-house, everything. We did everything in-house. Surprisingly, that was a very good thing, because when we went to the competition, we were competing against all the Ivy League schools. So Berkeley was there. I can't name any other colleges, but like really like high, like UCLA, USC, Berkeley, Stanford, big name colleges. MIT was, I think they were there, and we were competing in the gasoline class. So there's different classes in this eco marathon. There's diesel, electric, gasoline. So we were part of the gasoline one. Yeah, we built everything in-house. We built the body, we built the chassis. I learned how to weld. I learned how to do fiberglass. I learned how to machine stuff on a lathe. I learned just a lot of stuff. And then when we went to competition, I actually met Jay Leno, shook his hand.
Oh, nice.
Took a selfie with Jay. He's my hero. And guess what? We finished 14th. 14th, beating UCLA, beating Berkeley, beating basically all the American schools. We were kind of up there. But at the time, one of the guys that were my partners knew a guy at UCLA, knew that guy. So we were talking crap to UCLA all day long. And their driver crashed their car, so their car got disqualified. So we beat them. Yeah. So that was a very big achievement for us. For a 2-year small college, we placed 14th. The people who won it were Canadian. They got 2,500 miles to a gallon. Can you believe that? 2,500. Maybe close to 3,000. I don't remember that well. We managed to get about 600 and something miles to a gallon out of our car.
Okay.
So that was crazy experience for me in college. Being able to travel to Michigan, Detroit, compete, meet all these other people. It was a fantastic experience. And an experience that I will never forget, and an experience that got me my job that I have today.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was a big thing. A lot of late nights, guys. It's a lot of late nights.
Miss Boyd asked me when I'm out of the military. 2.5 years from now, actually. So yeah.
Not too long.
Are you re-enlisting? Don't know yet, huh?
I don't make plans, right?
Yes. He's consistent. This man is consistent.
Johnny, move on back, and then we got to go competing.
We'll see.
Yeah.
My college years was a real struggle for me. Like I said, I kind of dropped my degree in college, and afterwards I was just waiting on the military. So things got bad for me in my personal life, and I'm pretty sure you guys remember this. There was a time I asked you guys for your help, and I'm thankful for you guys, being there for me. So, yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad we're, still great friends and everything after all these years.
Your colleges now.
That's true. I agree with Miss Boyd. Colleges now.
You're always constantly learning.
Yep, you're learning everything new every day.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Actually, I learned so much while I was in boot camp.
I bet you did.
It was a great experience. Well, great in, it's certain way. But
how was the showers?
Oh, okay.
Had to ask that question.
But yeah, I kind of wish that everyone could experience it too, because I feel like it definitely is a great experience. You learn a lot from it. I'm not saying like everyone should do like a term in the military, but I feel like everyone should do like a boot camp thing. I feel like there's so much to take away from it.
How long is boot camp again?
For the Navy, it is 2 months.
2 months.
Yeah. But yeah, especially like for me, I never realized how much to be thankful for. So like when you're at boot camp, right, you don't get your common like sodas, like, Coca-Cola, McDonald's. What's that? That's something you have access to, every day outside. And like I'm experiencing that right now. I can't go home during this holiday. So like, every time I get to spend with you guys in person or my family, I get to enjoy it more now than before.
It definitely helps with humility and stuff like that.
Yeah. Miss Boyd, wish we were all Zooming. Yeah, we should have Miss Boyd as a guest one day.
Yeah, we can try something. We'll see how what happens in terms of how this goes. I mean, if it ends up, I think O2's suggestion was very interesting. We could always make it just like a just chatting session.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We still have 2 more episodes before we officially like call it in terms of our podcast. But yeah.
But yeah, Johnny, Johnny, you think being distant from home makes you appreciate it more, right? Like you cherish the times that you have with your family or your friends when you come and visit.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, if you're exposed to something every day, you kind of take it for granted.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But we are approaching close to about, I think we just hit an hour and 30 minutes. So that's a good amount of time. So any final words about college and passions you discovered either during college or after, or just on the topic of passions?
Sure. For me, I would say don't let anyone, push you towards something that you don't want to do. Definitely, there's no right way to figuring it out, in my opinion. Just, don't be afraid to try out new things and go about it different ways. That's what I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I always grew up very sheltered, very protected. So I was always scared of things. What I would want to leave is just don't be scared and, be strong, stand up for yourself, stand up in what you believe in. If you believe it's the right thing to do, do it, because that's how I felt when I wanted to work on cars for a living. A lot of people, I got a lot of no's. A lot. No, you can't do that. No. But in my gut, I knew that this is this is it. This is what I'm good at, and this is what I'm going to chase, and this is what I love. And fight for it, stand your ground, and do it, because you don't know where it's going to take you. I didn't expect it to take me to where I am today, honestly. And it's crazy. It's a crazy journey. It's just beginning. So I don't know what's going to come after this, but we'll see,
We will see. So just to close off the comment section as well, the last question was, are we avoiding politics? Interesting question. I am not necessarily trying to avoid it. It just is never really brought up too much. But yeah, that's my answer. I don't know about the other two, but yeah. Want to answer that question real quick, guys?
Yeah, I mean, if someone wants to talk politics, I want to avoid it too. I don't like bringing it up personally myself, because I feel like it could bring up, an argument, or not an argument, but a debate.
It's just very controversial, man.
Yeah, it's just controversial. But if someone does want to talk about it, I mean, I'm up for it.
Yeah, I mean, right now our topics are sort of trying to be centered around academics and just our life throughout school, our school experiences. But we will be moving past that in the final episode, I believe. So yeah. Just to close off my thoughts and to close off this episode, I definitely agree with you guys. Great advice for the don't let people push you to doing something you don't want to do. For me personally, my advice would be, first of all, in college, when you're in college, it's going to be a vulnerable time for you, for sure, because that's the period of time where a lot of people are deciding to get into either jobs, their careers, or they're still figuring it out. And a lot of people are still figuring it out, and that's totally fine. So don't look at other people too much, because that is one thing that it might influence you negatively. It might bring you to make choices that aren't your own, You're just doing things that other people sort of push you to do, or influence you to do. Mm-hmm. That's my advice for college. Just be okay with that vulnerability. Just find your own way, push through it. And then in terms of just passions, for me personally, I've had a lot, and it's totally fine to have a lot. I say keep exploring and keep trying different things, and eventually you'll hit on something that works out for you. Yep. Okay.
Good with that.
Thanks so much for joining us, and we will probably be doing this again next week on Saturday. We'll let you guys know on whatever social media platforms or Discord, stuff like that. So yeah. Later, guys.
Thank you guys for joining.
Thanks for joining.